Whether by air, road, or rail, the Swiss are highly mobile thanks to a superior transport network. Motor vehicles are the most common means of transport in Switzerland. Nevertheless, in rail travel, the Swiss are world leaders, with each inhabitant covering an annual average of 2,400 kilometers by train. Switzerland's public transport system has staggered a trail marked by developments and innovations and is now among the world's best. Switzerland is firmly associated with its public transport system, which boasts a glorious history and is unique worldwide. Several engineering features accomplished early on, the first steamship to operate in the 19th century, which also marked the inception of the world's longest rail tunnel and Europe's first mountain railway. And the effort did not stop there. Switzerland continues to advance heavily in its public transport system, creating a way for cutting-edge innovations. Locals and tourists acknowledge that Swiss public transport offers a highly enjoyable experience, mixing innovation and tradition. On June 18, 1823, their journey started when the first Swiss steamship voyages across Lake Geneva and, a little later, Lake Lucerne. 4 decades later, Thomas Cook, the British pioneer of global travel, generated the package holiday that remains so popular today, marking another milestone in Swiss tourism history. In 1871, the Witznau-Rigi Railway, Europe's first mountain railway, starts operating. The famous 15-kilometer-long Gotthard Tunnel became operational in 1882, contributing an important north-south route through the Alps and access to renowned spa resorts such as Zermatt and St. Moritz. A short while later, some additional features succeeded. In the Bernese Oberland was the first cable car in Grindelwald in 1908 and the Jungfraujoch Railway inaugurating in 1912. At 3,454 meters above sea level, the Jungfraujoch still possesses Europe's highest altitude station. A century later, Switzerland grabbed another world record when it opened the Gotthard-based tunnel in 2016. Many in the past have felt Switzerland's pull, and the desire to explore the country continues unabated. The foundation stone for constructing the Swiss railway system laid abroad. By the time neighbouring countries had built quite advanced railway networks, Switzerland was still mostly reliant on road traffic. The Strasbourg-Basel Railway Company sprang the ball rolling in 1844 by creating a railway line from Strasbourg in Alsace to Basel. This drove the Swiss to try to catch up. The first plans in building railways in Switzerland had already been done in the 1820s. Negotiations prolonged for over 25 years because of political instability and the canton's contrary interests. Merchants who viewed railways as a means to transport goods at lower cost supported the project. Simultaneously, local trades and business people who bothered about competition from cheaper products from other regions denied it. The merchant dominated. On the year 1847, the Swiss Northern Railway between Zurich and Baden was the first rail line built exclusively on Swiss territory. It was popularly recognized as the Spanish Bun Railway because Spanish buns from Baden's bakeries were a highly valued delicacy. Likewise, there were calls for the railways to nationalize in the early years of private railway development. In fact, the buyback question concerned federal politics for some time. Later, in 1883, the opportunity of abolishing the licenses of most railway companies revealed itself, but it took a long time for the Swiss people to choose freely. Not until February 20th, 1898, did they eventually give a ringing yes to renationalization. The Swiss Railways for the Swiss people pursued the campaign slogan at the time. So were the foundations designated for the Swiss Federal Railways, known in English by their German, French, or Italian initials SBB, FFS, or CFF. The SBB began working in 1902. 4 of the 5 main railways were nationalized: the Central Railway, the Nord-Eastern Railway, the United Swiss Railways, and the Jura-Simplon Railway. The Gotthard Railway arose in 1909. Switzerland was an early settler in the electrification of railway lines. Coal for steam engines was in insufficient supply during the First World War. During the burst out of the Second World War, renewed coal shortages provoked the large-scale electrification of the SBB network. Rail electrification proceeded with its service after the war. The last SBB steam locomotive was withdrawn in 1967. Because of that, the whole Swiss railway network has been entirely generated by electricity, the first of its kind. Without a doubt, Railway 2000 is the largest Swiss railway project in modern times. The Swiss electorate confirmed the project in 1987. tying the knot for 130 construction projects. Rail 2000 is designed to minimize travel times between all of Switzerland's hub stations within 1 hour. Trains depart the main stations just after the hour and the half hour to arrive at their stops to other hubs just before the hour or half hour, with the main stations operating as transport spiders in a compound system of railway hubs. This assures well-coordinated rail connections and shorter waiting times between trains. The stated objective of Rail 2000 was to make trains faster, more frequent, and more comfortable. The project proceeded to more direct connections between stations and higher speeds all over the rail network. Many railway lines were enhanced or newly built, minimizing travel times to under an hour on the main routes. The new Rail 2030 project aims to append new hubs, continuously minimizing travel times and increase passenger capacities. In 1958, the SBB began pushing its services with the slogan, "Those with brains take the train," which is as accurate today as it was then. The new rail is an essential part of Switzerland's sustainable transport policy, which focuses on shifting as much transalpine traffic as viable from the road to rail. The Swiss electorate voted for the project in various referendums and supported the construction of the NRLA by a clear majority in 1992. The NRLA gives new momentum to the shift from road to rail by presenting an effective alternative to road transport for passenger and cargo traffic through the Alps. By the road-to-rail policy, people can avoid around 800,000 journeys through the Alps by heavy goods vehicles each year. In the meantime, the railways have increased their market share to over 70% of goods transported. Notwithstanding the general growth in traffic, the number of HGV journeys made through the Alps has decreased. They were falling from 1.4 million in 2001 to around 900,000 in 2019. However, the target is to reduce this to a maximum of 650,000 HGV journeys per year. With the NRLA, Switzerland shows solidarity by ensuring the Alps' protection through the environmentally friendly handling of the flow of goods across Europe. 138 years after completing the legendary Gotthard Rail Tunnel, which is already a masterpiece in 1882, a new milestone has been achieved on the historic Gotthard route. The opening of the Ceneri-based tunnel on September 4, 2020 labels the completion of the century's construction project. The new rail link into the Alps forms the core of Europe's main north-south transportation route, stretching from Rotterdam to Genoa. Heading on from the Lochsberg and Gotthard base tunnels, this is the last piece of the jigsaw puzzle to finish the flat-track rail link through the Alps. Despite achieving so many technical features, Switzerland has continued to invest steadily in public transport development, and this investment has succeeded. With its tourism, there are all sorts of reasons to explore Switzerland by public transport, such as breathtaking scenery, secured connections, and innovation and traditions coexistence. It is probable to combine historic and modern means of transportation to produce the perfect journey. At the Stanzerhorn, for instance, you can ride the 1893 vintage funicular to the Midway station and then shift on to the futuristic Cabrio cable car. The Cabrio, which operated in 2012, is the world's first double-decker cable car with an overseeing top. And the Stoos Funicular Railway makes everyone thrilled, not just engineers. The world's steepest funicular is correctly configured for the utmost slope. The compartment's floor remains horizontal until the top, where passengers can experience the breathtaking panoramic view of 10 lakes and the gorgeous mountainscape. Swiss public transport apparently attains for authenticity and innovation, qualities that are incorporated with Switzerland. It's no doubt that there's enough space on Swiss trains for almost the whole Iceland population, providing a total seating capacity of 291,000. The reliability of Swiss railways is almost legendary. However, the railways are only one of the mainstays of Swiss mobility. As the location of essential crossroads in the heart of Europe, Switzerland has a light and reliable transport network. The Swiss are overly attached to their public transport and have every reason to be proud of it. Investment in the public transport system is therefore set to continue. It's only a matter of time before Switzerland bags yet another world record. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and click the notification bell icon to stay tuned about future videos. If you have any feedback or topics you'd want us to cover in the next video, leave a comment down below.